Hello friends, and welcome back for another edition of Survivor Top 10s. Survival rivalries vary from momentary beefs to season-long quarrels to challenge showdowns and even to 3-season story arcs. These are our picks for the top 10 fiercest rivalries in Survivor history. To kick off our list, we thought of no better starting point than diving into arguably the most rivalry-heavy season, Heroes vs. Villains. Of course, the ones that pop into mind are the alpha male contest between Tom and James, and even the character clashes of Coach and Courtney. But our number 10 pick is the rivalry between Russell Hantz and Sandra Diaz-Twine.
So, Russell, he don't know how to play this game. Yeah, he's done good so far, but with me, he don't know what he got himself into.
This rivalry sprung from the fallout of the Boston Rob vs. Russell rivalry that dominated the early parts of the season.
I'm controlling this game. I'll take care of all of them one at a time. This is Russell Hantz. If you ain't with me, you against me.
Sandra and her biggest ally Courtney realized they were on the bottom, and Sandra began stirring distrust between Russell and Coach. Russell spent the rest of the season antagonizing Sandra, telling her repeatedly that he was carrying her to the end so he could get the easy win. Right before Final Tribal, Sandra even throws Russell's trademark hat into the fire. Although not the biggest Villains Tribe rivalry on our list, this rivalry did leave its mark on the season. One element that goes hand in hand with rivalry is betrayal. Some of the biggest betrayals include Cochran betraying his tribe in South Pacific, Ty's betrayal of Scott on Co-Wrong, Dawn voting out Brenda and Caramoan, and our number 9 pick, Boston Rob and Lex. After the tribe swap on All-Stars that saw Rob's future wife, Amber, join on a tribe where she was in the minority, Rob leveraged his friendship with Lex and asked him to save Amber. In return, Rob implied he would save Lex at the merge. Lex held up his end of the bargain, and then Rob voted him out the first chance he got. A heated argument on the beach and a blow-up at Final Tribal Council began what is now a decade-long rivalry outside of the show.
And I think the way you play this game is representative of the kind of person you are. The hardest lesson I learned out here was about friendship and betrayal. And I think the true measure of a man is what kind of friend he is. What kind of a friend are you, Rob? What kind of a friend were you to me?
Lex did not vote for Rob at the Final Tribal Council, giving his vote to Amber instead and allowed her to win the season. For our next pick, we wanted to look at fresh rivalries, ones we saw only in the past couple of seasons. We considered Dean versus Tommy on Island of the Idols, and even Nick and Christian's alliance-turned rivalry in David versus Goliath. However, for our number 8 pick, we decided to go with Dom and Chris from Ghost Island.
But it got me already playing the game I'm like, I gotta get rid of this guy because he's gunning for me.
Dom's biggest rival as he was establishing his power was everyone's favorite rapping model, Chris Noble.
At the end of the day, I feel like he's cursing me out in his brain.
I think I am aggravating one specific person, and I believe Chris is the one who's looking to target me.
When you have two alpha males jockeying for position in a game like Survivor, sometimes one has to get rid of the other on their way to the end. Although many attempts by Wendell to get the two of them to coexist, Chris and Dom were unable to fully get on the same page. At the end of the day, Chris was the one that paid the price by being voted out. Thankfully he did, because we were eventually blessed with one of the greatest Survivor Ponderosa bids of all time. So thank you, Chris Noble. Now put the mic down, bro. For our number 7 pick, we looked at a few alpha male showdowns like John Carroll and Boston Rob and Marquesas, and even Coach versus JT in Token Jeans. But we decided to go with Bobby John versus Jamie in Guatemala. Fresh off a fun performance in Palau, Bobby John returned to redeem himself. Standing in his way was another country boy, Jamie, who was just as intense and energetic as the face-slapping veteran.
It's like, dude, you gonna say one more thing to me, I'm gonna knock every one of your teeth slam out of your head.
This led to many heated arguments during the tribal stage of the game, including one where the two of them got face-to-face with each other during an intense screaming match. They both made the merge, but landed only on the jury. Past that, they seemed to bury the hatchet and both voted together for the eventual winner, Danny Boatwright. Still, those first few episodes of this good old boy rivalry is an underrated rivalry and a very underrated season. Not all rivalries are limited to one season. We looked at a few multi-season rivalries for this list, like Tony versus Sarah, and even Philip versus Francesca. But our number 6 pick is none other than KASS versus Spencer BLEDSOE. In CAGAYAN, two of the most prominent folks on the season were the self-proclaimed KASS and the gamebot himself, Spencer. Cass's infamous flip at the Merge Boot episode where she backstabbed Spencer by blindsiding Sarah led to Spencer's iconic quote telling Cass she had 0% chance at winning the game.
Cass, thank you. That's right, Cass. Good job. We lost 2 immunity idols, but we'll get them back again.
Cass, 0 chance of winning the game.
It's a long way to go.
Cass, just like you talking strategy, just stop, please.
Really?
Please stop.
Well,
like
you
it's
just
an
got
embarrassment. It's an It's an embarrassment. Seriously.
It's called playing the game, Spence.
Yeah.
It's like I pulled off a hat trick on Survivor. I got rid of the girl I wanted to get rid of, and 2 big lugs played their idols unnecessarily. Triple win, right?
The two were at loggerheads for the remainder of the season, and their rivalry carried over into their next season, Cambodia. In this season, the two of them continued to talk about how they sometimes did and sometimes didn't want to work with each other, before Cass is ultimately sent home. With Spencer sitting at the end, Cass gets the final laugh by voting for Jeremy over both Spencer and Tasha to win the game. Another season filled with rivalries was Survivor Gabon. We had so many picks to choose from with this season, like Sugar versus Randy, Crystal versus Randy, and basically everyone else versus Randy. But for this entry, there is one that clearly tops them all, our number 5 pick, Sugar versus CORINNE. From the very beginning, CORINNE admits wanting to be the villain and owning every move she makes along the way. On the other side of things, we have Sugar, who is portrayed as just happy to be here. Throughout most of the season, Sugar continues to flip-flop with who she wants to vote with, causing repeated frustration from CORINNE.
Like, she's so stupid.
That it's dangerous.
Yes, and I'm just like, I never complained. She's the one who she's always complaining about where she sleeps. She's complaining about where she's sitting. You don't understand. All that gets me through the day is I rehearse the speech I'm gonna give after they say my name in tribal.
Things really start to go off the rails when Randy plays his fake immunity idol and is laughed at by Sugar and her allies, leaving CORINNE alone in the game.
Talk about people all the time behind their back, and then to their face you act like a really sweet little girl with a little bow on your head. Come on.
I'm acting like a sweet girl. If I told everybody to their face what I said behind their back, I wouldn't be playing a very good game, would I?
In one of the more infamous moments on the show, CORINNE goes off on Sugar about her constant crying about her dead father and recommends she takes antidepressants to cope. Not surprisingly, CORINNE did not vote for Sugar, and the two remain bitter enemies to this very day. After deciding our number 10, we realized Sandra has quite a few rivalries spanning over her 4 seasons of gameplay. She had multiple memorable rivalries like her one with Tony on Game Changers, albeit brief, and even her cross-tribal rivalry with Rob on Winners at War. However, Sandra's most iconic rivalry, and our number 4 pick, is her rivalry with Jonny Fairplay from Pearl Islands. Words may not be able to fully describe the feud the two of them grace our screens with. Sandra verbally chastises Fairplay after Rupert is voted out, before ultimately pouring out the tribe's fish.
I never trusted you from day one, and you can't be trusted. Ladies, he cannot be trusted. He will backstab you in a heartbeat like he did everybody here.
And what game are you playing here? Oh, you're not playing any game. You're riding on Rupert's coattails. Guess what? That coat just left.
Every time a plan went down, you put it together.
They even have an argument during the Fairplay Dead Grandma Challenge. Sandra is the only person that does not give her condolences. The most famous moment of this rivalry, however, comes early in the game, where the two get into an argument, leading to Sandra iconically screaming, "I can get loud too." Following the argument, Fairplay announces in a confessional that Sandra won't be winning the game. And when the game she did, maybe these people should stop going after Sandra. For our next pick, we look at one of the most entertaining rivalry types, the clashes between powerful mastermind-like players. Some of the rivalries we looked at were Yule vs. Pinner from Cook Islands, and Tyson vs. Hayden from Blood vs. Water. But it was clear that our number 3 pick was going to be Boston Rob vs. Russell Hantz.
Boston Rob thinks that he's in charge. I'm starting to think this just ain't working out. I didn't know his personality was that strong.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is where I'm in charge. I am King Russell from Samoa.
From the very beginning of Heroes vs. Villains, the Villains tribe seemed to be split into 2 factions, with Boston Rob controlling the majority, and Russell leading a smaller 3-person alliance with Parvati and Danielle. Rob and Russell both make it known that they are coming after each other on a few occasions, which comes to a head when Tyson is tricked by Russell into basically voting himself out. The writing was on the wall for Rob after that, and he was sent home right after. The two exchanged a few words at the reunion, and the producers tried to capitalize on it by building a season based on the two villains' rivalry. Sadly, Redemption Island did not add to their rivalry, as Russell was quickly voted out of the game while Rob was able to moonwalk to the end. Although the ending of the rivalry didn't live up to the hype, the beginning of it controlled the pre-merge narrative in one of Survivor's greatest seasons.
Find out soon enough that he's out of his league. I just did everything I could to make him as more paranoid as he could, Just so he runs around like a crazy man.
Not all rivalries begin on bad terms right away. Some of them slowly develop from friendship to clash. Examples of this are Abby Maria versus RC in Philippines, Sue versus Kelly in Borneo, and even Parvati versus Amanda, who were super tight in Micronesia, but clashed later on in Heroes vs. Villains. But in our opinion, the greatest alliance turned rivalry is our number 2 pick, Colby versus JERRI in Australia, All Stars, and of course, Heroes vs. Villains. Way back in Season 2, 2 of the most memorable characters were Colby and JERRI.
I'm not saying I'm holding out on making a deal with you to see how this thing plays out. I'm saying there's no sense in even making a deal, because if we go into the merge undermanned, it's all for naught, you know?
Don't worry about it. It's not like you're making a deal with the devil here.
It was quickly established that JERRI was romantically into Colby, while Colby wanted little to nothing to do with JERRI. During the merge, Colby turned his back on his alliance with JERRI, and she gets sent home soon after that. JERRI eventually votes for the ultimate winner, Tina, at Final Tribal Council. Both JERRI and Colby come back for All Stars, where this time, JERRI gets her revenge and votes out Colby pretty early in the game.
He doesn't see a single vote coming in his direction. For me, that was a goal that I set for myself, was to last longer than Colby. And if it took losing today to get him out of here, I'm totally fine with it.
Their final appearance together was during Heroes vs. Villains. By this point, 10 years had passed since their initial introductions, and the two seemed to have finally buried their rivalry by the time the season came around. An arc that stretched through 3 seasons and came back around full circle is going to be tough to beat on this list, and only one rivalry can do it. Survivor is a competition, but arguably the most competitive aspect of the show are the challenges. We've seen many challenge rivalries on our screens over the years, like Kim vs. Troyzan in one world, and surprisingly, even Keith vs. Joe in Cambodia. But the greatest challenge classes and our pick for the #1 most fierce rivalry in Survivor history is none other than ARAS versus Terry in Panama.
ARAS and Terry's relationship is based on rivalry. It's all, it's that macho thing.
Coming into the merge in the minority, but with an idol, Terry basically had to win every immunity in order to get to the end. The only person realistically in his way was ARAS. The two constantly went back and forth both physically in challenges and also verbally at camp. Although most of the time coming off as a friendly rivalry, things did seem like they were on the verge of boiling over almost every time Jeff said, "Survivors ready?"
Going through this experience is something that really brings you closer together, regardless of how you feel about someone's personality. And hopefully, Terry and I, through our conflict, we've helped each other grow.
Episode after episode saw clash after clash between these two, all the way down to the final immunity challenge. Despite all of the tension and battle scars between the two, Terry was able to swallow his pride and vote for ARAS to win in the end.
Of the two of you, you're head and shoulders the winner. Congratulations.
The two were able to look past their rivalry and remain friends to this day. And that concludes our picks for the top 10 most fierce rivalries in Survivor history. Tune in for future editions of Survivor Top 10s here on Reality Pop, and be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And please leave a comment with what you think are Survivor's most fierce rivalries and what top 10 lists you would like us to do next. And thank you for watching Reality Pop, your new hub for all things reality.
Thanks so much for watching Reality Pop, your new hub for all things reality. If you're enjoying this content, please let us know by giving this video a like, leaving a comment down below, and, of course, subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any videos. And be sure to hit that notification bell along the way. Thanks! Hey there, thanks so much for checking out Reality Pop, your new hub for all things reality. Do you have a passion for reality TV? We're currently looking to expand our team. So if you're interested in being one of our podcasters, video editors, graphic designers, social media managers, or anything else, please let us know. Go ahead and shoot an email over to realitypopnetwork@gmail.com. The link is in the description, and let us know where your interests lie. We look forward to hearing from you, and thanks for watching Reality Pop.